Welcome to today's webinar, hosted by Tangent Solutions. The topic for today's webinar is reshaping the internal audit through robotic process automation. Your presenter for today is Adrian Kelly. Adrian is an intelligent automation specialist with technology and sales background, with over 5 years of invaluable experience working with multinational companies regarding their adoption of new groundbreaking software solutions. Adrian is currently responsible for new business development, prioritizing customer requirements, defining the intelligent automation journey with the client, and advising clients on how to adopt change with their business environment to ensure successful implementation. To ask questions and interact during the webinar, please use the chat sidebar to the right of the video or presentation on the screen. A link to the webinar recording will be available at the end of the webinar. I now hand you over to Adrian.
Right, so let's kick it off, shall we? Internal audit remains one of the cornerstones of an organization's corporate governance, as you are uniquely positioned to provide global assurance to the audit committee and senior management regarding the effectiveness of internal governance controls and risk processes. Furthermore, internal auditors are well placed to fulfill an advisory role on assurance coordination, effective ways of improving existing processes, and assisting management in implementing recommended improvements. However, for internal audit functions to serve in this valuable capacity, they themselves must be innovative. So now I'm sure you're asking, how can you as auditors manage the controls around new technology implementations and technology-driven processes without acquiring new technology skill sets, taking new audit approaches, and using innovative technologies for extracting data, testing, and reporting? Fortunately, the age of automation has arrived, with internal audit departments, large and small, who have already begun their journey into the world of automation by expanding their use of traditional analytics to include predictive models and robotic process automation. In order to take a look into the world of internal audit, we need to understand the role internal auditors play within business. Internal audit is an independent, objective assurance and consulting activity designed to add value and improve an organization's operations. As the third line of defense, it helps an organization accomplish its objectives by bringing a systematic, disciplined approach to evaluate and improve the effectiveness of risk management, control, and governance processes. The following activities typically form part of your internal auditor's roles and responsibilities. Evaluating existing controls. Internal auditors need to assess the tone and risk management culture of the organization, as well as evaluating and reporting on the effectiveness and efficiency of the implementation of management policies. Evaluating potential risks. Internal auditors need to identify key activities and relevant risk factors while assessing their significance. The way risks are assessed is often affected by changing trends and conditions on a business or economic scale. As a result, the techniques of internal audit have changed from a reactive and control-based approach to a more proactive, risk-based one. This enables internal auditors to anticipate future concerns and opportunities, as well as identifying current issues. Analyzing operations and confirming information. Internal auditors need to work closely with line managers to review operations and report their findings. Therefore, internal auditors must be well versed in strategic objectives of the organization to have a clear understanding of how the operations of any given part of the organization fits into the bigger picture. Reviewing compliance. Compliance reviews ensures that the organization is adhering to rules, regulations, laws, codes of practice, guidelines, and principles as they apply individually and collectively to all parts of the organization. Let's take a look at the persistence of challenges within internal audit. The world is reaching a technology inflection point where powerful and accessible emerging technologies give organizations the opportunity to make leaps in productivity and market growth, while creating new products, services, and markets not yet even imagined. However, in reflecting the changes around it, internal audit soon will not be auditing the way it has in the past by using today's skills. The first challenge I'd like to expand on is the rise of disruptive technologies. Today, internal audit may only have exposure to a limited number of technologies such as enterprise resource planning, cloud, big data, and analytics. However, the list of technologies that auditors must understand is growing rapidly, including the risks that will have to be covered and the frequency of technological change that will have to be addressed that makes today's foundational tools obsolete. To play a valuable role in the organization, internal audit must enlist innovative tools, skills, and methods for providing assurance. The next challenge to highlight is a shift in audit methodology. With the adoption of these emerging technologies, gaps are created in audit frameworks and procedures that must be applied consistently. To adapt, internal audit departments must shift their underlying methodologies to more ongoing, continuous, or real-time modes of audit. While the organization must make significant investments in training, resources, tools, and standardization. Moving on to the barriers in data extraction. Internal auditors face constant challenges regarding independent access to data required for conducting audits. In order to become more self-sufficient, internal auditors must be able to extract data directly from operational and financial systems, use tools as governance, risk, and compliance technology, use optical character recognition, and adopt security tools to access the data needed. A growing knowledge gap. Very few internal audit functions are rated as advanced in their use of this emerging group of technologies. However, as organizations embrace intelligent automation in products and services, internal audit will need to be knowledgeable about these technologies well in advance of applying them within the department. It will make internal audit a much more attractive profession in the future and can create differentiation for organizations when competing for scarce skill sets and technology-savvy resources. Lastly, the change in audit skill sets. The pace and scale of technology innovation demand that internal audit no longer structure its team with individualized skill sets as it has in the past. The legacy approach requires too many individuals and it's sure to be cost prohibitive. Therefore, a technology understanding at a level well beyond basic IT general controls must be a part of everyone's core skills. Internal audit needs risk professionals who are technology curious and have mindsets and abilities to routinely retool based on emerging technologies and changing enterprise risks. I'm sure that I'm going to touch some nerves over here, listing some of the challenges that you face on a constant basis, but here it goes. The lack of independent connection to data sources required for audits. The poor quality, usually due to human error. The normalization of data for analysis due to the receival of exceptions in various formats. And the management of a vast amount of exceptions on an application such as Microsoft Excel. Typically, the natural adoption curve for internal audit function has been towards a greater use of long-standing tools and less towards more advanced ones. For example, certain technologies that have been thought of as revolutionary in the recent past are now considered fundamental tools for internal audit functions that seek to resolve complex issues and maintain their value in a technologically driven future. This includes technologies from dashboards and self-service data extraction to advanced analytics. However, some internal audit functions have started moving across the continuum by leaning right into the technology-driven future. They are already advising in areas such as risks and controls over robotic process automation and the application of artificial intelligence in their organization. This automation spectrum illustrates the maturity of organizations based on the adoption of a broad range of technologies. Level 1 represents organizations who have not adopted any sort of automation within their business and do not even have it in their strategy. Here we see a lot of manual work being conducted with a high rate of human error. Level 2 shows organizations who have started dipping their toes to get a feel for automation. They have about 1 or 2 processes automated which require human intervention at some point within the process. Level 3 is where businesses are now moving towards a more intermediate level of automation, where a majority of their standardized processes are automated. It requires minimal human intervention and has independent access to the data source. Level 4 have got full automation implemented within various departments. It requires minimal to no human intervention, has independent access to the data source, and has complete coverage of all processes. There are numerous ways in which internal audit can embed automation capabilities throughout the entire audit lifecycle. This includes risk assessments, audit planning, field work, and reporting. The investment in automation technologies can yield the positive returns such as better use of scarce resources. By replacing manual activities, automation can free up capacity for teams, allowing personnel to focus on higher value activities, such as quality assurance reviews, exception management, process improvements, and interpersonal interactions. In turn, this shift towards value-added activities can improve operating effectiveness, allowing the internal audit organization to keep pace with business challenges and the associated impact. Increased efficiency and reduced costs. RPA can operate and execute audit tasks around the clock at an accelerated pace. As a result, the reduction of time-consuming manual activities can lead to significant cost savings. Higher quality output. RPA enables tasks to be performed more uniformly and efficiently. In addition, the results are highly traceable and auditable. With inherent process standardization, fewer manual errors are likely to occur, which improves the accuracy and quality of audits. When mistakes, manual or otherwise, are made, they can be detected more readily and rectified more easily due to the systematic nature of the process. More business value. Nearly every internal audit organization seeks to increase assurance and coverage. RPA furthers this goal by enabling internal audit to move from statistical sampling to full population testing. These technologies can also enable organizations to increase the frequency of testing and, in many cases, to transition to a continuous auditing model for providing more timely insights to business. As technologies evolve, business value is expected to increase in tandem, enabling proactive insights and analysis in reporting. Greater coverage. Having robotic automation manage and drive the full analytics allows internal audit professionals to get greater coverage across the organization, while not increasing the time or resources needed to analyze large data populations. This also removes audit sampling from the equation and helps auditors get closer to the complete assurance. Robotic automation allows teams to find the irregularities in data and transactions and focus on those outliers. Improve on-demand visibility into department performance. Using automation in reporting and project tracking allows for on-demand visibility into departmental performance. Dashboards and workflow tools anchor and make possible a timely and efficient internal audit function. Such tools ease internal audit work with those they are auditing or advising, and they simplify the sharing of information and the collaboration with risk functions. What I'll do here is mention some of the audit phases and then list the opportunities. If you're looking for a full list with all the details, then please contact me after the webinar and I'll gladly send it through to you. Risk assessment. Compliance risk assessment and visualization. Continuous business operations monitoring. Second is audit planning and the automation of heavy text documents, profile business operations, and exploratory analytics and what-if analysis. Fieldwork, 100% population testing, and detection of suspicious logs associated with IT systems. Key opportunities for internal audit within intelligent automation initiatives includes the following. Role 1. Internal audit can help to integrate governance, risk, and control considerations throughout the automation program lifecycle as an organization establishes and implements its program. Role 2. Internal audit can help the organization identify opportunities to embed automation-enabled control activities within the impacted business processes and functions. Role 3. The internal audit organization can capitalize on intelligent automation innovations to increase the efficiency and effectiveness of its own activities. Internal audit departments, which have been burdened by manual processes and tedious tasks for years, can now turn the majority of the grunt work over to a digital workforce who are able to handle long hours and repetition, and who rarely make mistakes when managed properly. To end off with a quick quote that I feel really ties this whole webinar up. Automation is not about decreasing headcount. It is about moving up the value chain. By freeing up resources, auditors can shift time to proactive activities like business transformations and emerging risks, becoming problem solvers rather than problem finders. Great, so this brings me to the end of the webinar. For those of you who stayed on for the duration, thank you.
If you have any other questions, we will now give you some time to ask them. Questions not answered during the presentation will be recorded, collated, and answered in due course. You will receive an email with answers to questions not answered in the presentation. Thank you for your participation, and we hope to see you in the next one.